Good afternoon and welcome to the State of the College. This live event is being broadcast through StreamYard, on the college web, Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. Special thanks to Dr. Lori Hefner and the Office of Institutional Effectiveness and Strategic Planning for their support of creating this presentation. Thank you. And now President Eames.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to State of College. Thank you for being here. I'm so appreciative of your time. I'm grateful that we're going to be having this recorded for our future reference, and I appreciate each of you that participated in all the hard work that has anything to do with our State of the College address. In particular, I want to again thank Dr. Lori Hefner and her team, my cabinet, the directors, the academic chairs, the Senate, the Foundation Board, our community partners in government relations, and also our auxiliary board. Every part of our York family needs to know that the State of the College is a reflection of what we hope for, who we think we are, data points to consider, and important information that I believe and the leadership team of the campus believe that you should receive. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Please advance the slide. The State of the College address is being given to you by myself, Bernice Johnson Eames, the president, on October 28, 2021. Thank you for joining us. Last year, I gave my State of the College address from my dining room in the middle of a pandemic. Today, I come to you from my office. I missed you. I missed our students, my hallway conversations, the events, and everything that goes with being in person. We have made so much progress in the past year, and I know there's more that we are going to do together. I know there are details to this work that we're going to share regarding spring semester and more, and we want to be sure that you understand what information we're taking into consideration as we do that. I also want to highlight that if you look at this timeline, you understand where we have been and hopefully where we attempt to go. I want you to know that those of you all who return to campus this fall, we appreciate you and all that you've done. We want to acknowledge the very, very, very dedicated work of all of our essential workers and those who never, ever left campus anytime during the pandemic. To everyone on our essential worker staff, please know that we appreciate you. And we are so grateful to be back in person. We're happy that it's safe and clean here at York College and that we have activity. I see students sitting out in the opening of the opening in the picnic tables. It's so nice to see the students all over the place, and I want to see more and more. Next slide, please. We're planning for spring 2022. We need to get our students back in person, and we are working with everyone who is involved in getting that done, asking the question, what do you need? And I want each member of the York family to understand that we want to hear your feedback so that we can continue to push toward reaching our goal of 70% of courses offered in person or high flex. We know that there is an equity opportunity and that minority first generation students are more likely to be disparately impacted by remote learning due to historical systemic racism and obstacles that we all were able to see during COVID. Less access to technology, living environments that are limited, different and diversity of work schedules, and increased responsibility. We understand that we all made adjustments during COVID and that now we are adjusting back. I have heard from our student government leaders, from others in the community, that they want to be back on campus. So I ask you to work with each other and let's prepare to be back together. Next slide. I want to talk to you a little bit about the work that we are going to do committed to our strategic plan. What you see in front of you are the 4 pillars of our plan. I will be speaking to each of them. These goals were established by you as a campus prior to my arrival in fall of 2019. I am so gratified that this campus participated in a robust, collaborative strategic planning process that resulted in these 4 goals. I will start by speaking about student success. First and foremost, when we think of student success, we want to take a look at our enrollment. I'm showing you data here that I want you to consider as you think about what is happening not only in the national conversation, but also in the state conversation, the CUNY conversation, and of course, the York conversation. I've been sharing with several of the leadership team that we must develop a strategic enrollment management plan. And that plan must be based on true data, understanding of enrollment, the connection between enrollment and budget, and also trends. So, what I share with you here are the enrollment trends for the college since 2014. We have steadily had an enrollment that has been going down. Of course, we had the impact of COVID most recently. I have been asking the cabinet and the entire leadership team of the campus to understand these data, and we are going to continue to look at those things that impact enrollment, and then collectively make a strategic enrollment management plan that is connected to healthy budget, graduation, retention rates, and closing the equity gap. Next slide. Please take a look at this. Very informative data around undergraduate new student enrollment. There is information here that could inform our understanding of how we plan in the future. I have been asking the provost and the deans to work collectively with the academic chairs so they very much understand the connection of the enrollment in their particular majors, and we understand the enrollment for those who are undeclared. Next slide. Retention. When I arrived at York College in fall 2019, I had quite a few conversations around continuing students and whether or not we were, per se, losing our continuing students, and that our retention was a real conversation that needed to be looked at deeply and strategically. I share this information with you so that you can see that over the years since 2013, we have continuously had a retention problem that we need to address. This means that we would take a hard look at why are students leaving? Why are we not retaining them? Why are they not continuing? And how can we help make sure that we bridge that gap? Retention and graduation rates are a national conversation that has been ongoing for more of the last 20 years. In my 25 plus years working higher education, I've dedicated myself to being part of campus communities that take a hard look at data, make data-driven decisions, and be very intentional about developing programs, supports, services, and initiatives that are laser focused on increasing retention. Next slide. 4-year graduation rates. This is a very powerful and important number to digest. I actually will stop here because we are going to look at our 4-year and 6-year graduation rates. The data points that I share with you today are a reflection of our success and commitment to our students. If every one of us are not aware of our retention, 4-year graduation rate, 6-year graduation rate, and academic momentum, we are without the data that we must have to plan those activities that are imperative to the work of the students in the future. Please note that our 4-year graduation rate is quite low. If you have a moment to Google and check out other institutions that are similar to ourselves, you will understand the impact of these numbers. But what I will say is the great thing is there is opportunity here. Next slide. So nationally, the conversation about graduation rate has been one that's moved from 4-year to 6-year most of the time. Most agencies that collect data on graduation rates still continue to collect 4-year data, but we are very, very, very focused on our 6-year data also, because it tends to be now the marker for graduation. It is my hope that we will push past our current number. Please keep in mind that the blue shown here is the university average, and the York College average is 31.6. Fantastic opportunity for growth. Thank you. Next slide. I'll just touch on this briefly and then talk about some other things as it relates to the spring. Academic momentum is a measurement established by CUNY in order to articulate and record earn 30 credits or more for first year and full-time students. This is a marker for academic success that was established by CUNY for each campus to keep an eye on. We want to be able to see what the academic momentum is of our students. I hope that this academic year, we can disaggregate some of this data and make sure that those who are working with certain programs will have the data for the academic momentum of each major, potentially each specialized program, and other populations that may be helpful for us to look at. It is pretty easily explained. It is the momentum by which you achieve your academic outcomes. And here, as you can see again, the university average is recorded in blue, and the York average is in the red. I'm going to move on and talk a little bit about those measures, not all of them, but some of them that we have put in place to support the students as we approach coming back in person, and in particular, spring. I want to thank everyone who was here with their bright, shiny faces on August 25th for our first day of classes, where we had a line out to the gate with people wanting to get their vaccine uploaded or find out how they could get in the building. It was gratifying to be able to welcome so many students. And we took an extra step and developed a pilot project called the York One-Stop Welcome Center. It is now currently housed directly to the left of the front door of the campus. But at that time, we had it spread out and disparate, and we were trying our best to triage a lot of issues. We serve the students with the following services noted on the slide here, and these offices and others have been doing all we can to answer every question possible. At the York One Stop Welcome Center, you can learn how to upload your vaccine information, make sure you're following the COVID guidelines, and get assistance from admissions, registrar, bursar, financial aid, advising, student health services, and information technology. What I want to stress is that York is safe and clean and ready for everyone to come back in person. We are, of course, following the CUNY guidelines, and CUNY, of course, is working with the state and the CDC and all appropriate offices. But we wanted to be sure that we were focused on the service of the students and being able to answer their questions real time in the moment. So thank you to the staff who've been working with the pilot of the York One Stop Welcome Center. Next slide. The work of our CARES Act mental health group. I cannot sing the praises of this group enough. York College received $260,174 to support students with increased mental health and wellness services. That means that we had to pivot and figure out a way to help our students who were in great need of support during COVID. We expanded our mental health accessibility and hired peer mental support advocates, established a virtual walk-in clinic, addressed increased concern regarding domestic violence, and provided instructor-led live and on-demand exercise classes. Nearly 700 students participated. I want to thank the team for turning on a dime and figuring out how to use these resources to help the students stay healthy. Trauma, loss, and mental illness as a result of COVID is real. We have quite a few people who have suffered great loss during this time, and we have tried to do all that we can to support them. And as a reminder, we have mental health services for our staff and faculty also facilitated through our EAB program. Next slide. Hungry for Knowledge Food Pantry. This food pantry has existed well before COVID, but they took their work to another level and served 400 households in the past year. They did what they had to do to have the food pantry outside of the campus doors, safe and in the open air. The team includes staff and 25 interns from health education and the social work departments. This particular food pantry and the project is supported by the Carol Milton Petrie Foundation, Grow NYC, the Food Bank of New York City, and the New York City Council. If you all should know any student who is hungry or in need of mental health service, please continue to reach out to those in student development. and in any other office, because we should all know how to get help to our community. Thank you to the team that worked on the food pantry. We also took a hard look at additional support services. And I note here on this slide for your information that our phenomenal Child and Family Care Center remained open, and they were doing the good work of caring for the children of this community and children of our students. We also have the exciting update that we are going to have Accelerate, Complete, and Engage program, ACE program, starting in spring 2022. Thank you to our provost, our academic leaders, and all those involved in the work that is going to be purposeful and intentional and powerful. This program is designed to help students complete their academic journey to the bachelor's degree on time. 75 students will be admitted to this program in 2002, this spring, 2002. Thank you so much. Well, I want to tell you all that you should be proud of yourself, because other than the record year that was the 50th anniversary of York College last year, our small but mighty advancement team led us to an all-time high of fundraising. I want to thank our foundation board and definitely our outgoing foundation board chair, Michelle Chow-Tai, and others on the board who did all that they could to bring us where we are. We did a fantastic job of having a virtual gala. Of course, we wanted to be dancing together, but we couldn't. And even with that, we had the largest yield of day of giving last year and from our gala. Let me also report that we made sure that there was increased transparency of what the funds were utilized for. Next slide. We wanted to be sure that everybody understands that we were clear about what we were raising money for and where it was going to go. These funds have been dispersed, and this is the way that the funds are being spent. One of my promises to you all when I arrived was that I'm very dedicated to transparency, shared governance, and increased collaboration and communication. It is a never-ending job, but it is something that I truly believe in. Again, thank you to the advancement team for all their hard work. And I hope that those who receive these funds that were raised will understand that we do it for you. Day of Giving is coming up again, and we very much hope that in any way that you can, that you will participate and you will make sure that we see the yield of all of that hard advancement work. Next slide. All right, student support. So this is just to give you a sense that our Institutional Advancement Office distributed these funds to the students in these ways: 48 emergency grants, 120 scholarships, and 2 stipends directly to the students for their help. There is a committee with appropriate governance, and there is appropriate communication to each student to help them and verification of the appropriate information for award. I want to thank the team for doing such a fantastic job and keeping the work going. And again, if you should know of a student who is in need, please be sure that somebody on the staff or faculty knows so that they can connect them with the resources that they need. Thank you. Our second goal, academic excellence. Well, we should be very proud. And I know that a lot of people say, oh, those rankings don't make any difference. Well, they do make a difference when you find out that you did great and you are great like you already knew. So York makes U.S. News and World Report 2022 rankings. As you can see, those are our rankings. This is directly connected to your academic success and the academic excellence of the institution. Thank you so much to our faculty for the hard work. You do not get recognized for this without the work of the faculty. Next slide. A couple of updates on our academic programs. New program, Human Resource Management BS approved by NYSED 1021, effective CUNY 1st, fall 22. As you can see noted underneath, we had some fantastic accomplishments to happen around accreditation. Our MSW program was accredited. Time of the visit, had an accreditation visit that was very successful. Time of visit, June 2021, accreditation was awarded. Congratulations. And as you can see, nursing, accreditation visit, movement science, and the social work BS. Let me congratulate the faculty of each of these programs for their dedication and hard work. We appreciate you. Next slide. Real world experiences. So, one of the pillars of high impact practice, as noted by the AACMU, is to designate real world experiences. And we at York, and particularly the faculty, are dedicated to making sure our students are doing what they can in those experiences. Here noted, you have some information around the arts, our interprofessional education experiences, and our immersion program. So I want to say that we have been having more and more conversation about increasing internships, whether they be credit bearing or paid, looking at study away, study abroad, and non-traditional spring break, all with a commitment to academic excellence. And this is just the beginning. So as noted here, I want to be sure that we point out that we have had our students doing real world experience connected to learning outcomes. Next slide. So as an informational item, I want to share with some for the first time and others who have seen it 1,000 times, our commitment to the assessment of our general education program. It's overseen by a fantastic faculty-led general education assessment committee, GEAC, with a multi-year plan to assess the students' achievement across general education curriculum. I want to thank them for their commitment, and I want to highlight for you at the bottom of this slide the plan for the upcoming work of that group. This is not easy work to do, and it does take time outside of the realm of the faculty teaching. Thank you, thank you, thank you for your commitment. Without your commitment and your attention to detail, we would not be in a position to be able to say that we are going to be assessing and working on general education at this level. Thank you so much. Lastly, assessment and institutional learning outcomes is assessed by a faculty-led overseen academic assessment program committee, and the institutional learning outcomes are noted here, guided by York's College mission and values. This is really important work, and the faculty-led committees that do this work have been working hard, and we appreciate it. As a reminder, our commitment to having a strong accreditation is connected to this. Without the faculty working in this way and keeping these things in mind, at the first and top of mind, we would be in accreditation trouble, and we don't want that. So thank you to Dr. Lori Hefner and her team again for supporting the faculty-led committees and to the work of assessment in the area of learning outcomes. We'll move on to the third goal, faculty and staff support. This is a goal that was identified by the campus as important as the other three are. I want to report that our full-time faculty percent who are racial and ethnic minorities is noted here for you. The senior college average is noted in the blue, and the York College average is noted in the red. We know that York College is an extremely diverse community, and we also want to be sure that we are highlighting the fact that our faculty are also very diverse. Next slide. I want to share with you the demographics of our faculty as it relates to gender, race, and ethnicity. These charts are pretty self-evident in their information, but I wanted to be sure I shared it with you so you get a sense of our faculty here at the university. Grants and productivity are noted here, very important. During my listening tour, during my first year at York College, I heard a lot about I really would like to have more support in the area of sponsored research. The provost and I have been talking about that at length. And during this academic year, we will continue to talk and ask those questions. But I want to share that I believe that the dip in research awards from last year has a lot to do with COVID. Many of the funding institutions went about the award process differently, and we hope to get back up to our 19 number. But I wanted to share that with you so you could see the different number of awards per year. The productivity and support of faculty research is extremely important, and I'm asking the provost and the deans to dig down deep and find out more about how we can support the faculty and put that into our operational plan for the future and take actions to make sure that our York College faculty feel supported in writing grants and have a positive outcome. Thank you. Next slide. Additional support for the faculty and staff, as noted here, are the AQ program that I recently participated in a pinning for the faculty that participated in a 25-week program, and they earned Effective College Instruction Certificate. Of those 56, 47 earned the certificate, and we could not be more proud. Thank you so much for participating. The Office of Institutional Effectiveness and Strategic Planning. We have tried to provide the campus with information directly that is clear and concise. I want to tell you that if you have not read a research brief presented by Dr. Lori Hefner and her team, you have not lived. They're very informative and powerful. I hope that you're using them in your meetings and that you understand when we say we want to make data-driven decisions, we're utilizing those research briefs for our conversations that guide what we were going to do next. So thank you. I hope that the faculty feel supported by this kind of data as they try to go out and do things for the students. And the one that was noted that we went past was the digital, the request, the information in HR. We've tried to do more work in making sure that everyone has that information. All right, last but not least. Well, we know that everyone, when I arrived, said vibrant community and campus theory. This is something you all talked about, again, prior to my arrival as part of your conversation. The fiscal year 21 was a challenging budget year for CUNY overall. Decreased enrollments, decreased collections, and budget reductions. Here I have for you a summary of the shortfall information that was fortified by CARES and CRISA funds, which enabled the college to end the fiscal year 21 in a slightly positive position. Without those funds, the college would have incurred a $6.6 million deficit. As a reminder, we continue to try to educate and clarify that everyone understands the connection between enrollment, our budget, our state allocation, and our day-to-day life. I was surprised to find out early in my arrival that many of us on our campus do not know the difference between a FTE and a student enrollment piece. There are a few data points that we had to work on, and the budget itself. So here I am presenting to you as clearly as possible an understanding of our resource situation. Next slide. Fiscal year 22 is also proving to be a challenging budget year, and it probably will continue to be that way for some time. The lower revenues are resulting from declining enrollment and potential budget reductions at the state level that we are not clear about yet. We project that the revenue and the budget reductions will largely be offset by the American Rescue Plan Act. These funds are highly regulated, must be utilized by a certain date, as noted, and we hope to expect that some carryover funds will be available for fiscal year 2023. Additionally, the college has entered into an agreement with the Queensboro Football Club. We're excited for the public-private partnership, and the construction of the stadium will start later on in the spring, potentially the summer. This will provide an additional source of revenue for the college over the next 2 years, and we're very proud of that collaboration. I'd like to talk to you a little bit about diversity, equity, inclusion, as it is a pillar of the work that the chancellor has put in front of each of us as presidents in CUNY. We at your college want to celebrate, evaluate, and grow. I want to speak a little bit about each point. Throughout my presentation, I have shared data points that clearly celebrate the diversity of your college. And we continually focus on the history that we realize that in the last year, that we have had an increase of diversity and that we are trying to highlight those things that are going on at the campus. We outperform many in this area. I'm going to be establishing the President's Commission on Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion to be an umbrella organization and committee to do nothing but celebrate, evaluate, and grow the work. I will also commit to assessing and evaluating this work in a way that will inform the growth of the work. We sit here square in Jamaica, Queens, in a community dedicated, most diverse, most diverse. And we have to continue to celebrate, evaluate, and grow. We will have continued work together on this. Thank you. We did some heavy lifting for our community. We should be really proud. We were the first federal NYS mass vaccination site in New York, served as both walk-up and drive-through COVID testing center, and administered 250,000 vaccines. Thank you to everyone who had anything to do with our amazing vaccine site. We are committed to being very strong stewards of place. The terminology stewards of place is one that is used in higher education when one is looking at the space and place that we steward. We have a responsibility at York College to be great stewards of place. And with that said, I wanted to share some of the things that we have been doing. Next slide. Early voting, election site. We've served one of the first early voting polling sites in New York City and served 61,000 to 100,000 Queens residents during the local, state, and national elections. I want to thank the team, the campus, for being flexible, dedicated, and open to this. And it's really exciting to be able to serve our community this way. Just briefly, and with a graphic, I wanted to share the potential beauty that we will be able to see when we have our soccer stadium here. This is a private-public partnership. The stadium will host teams for home games in the inaugural season. Right now, we are trying to find out whether or not it will be 2022 or 2023. The first stadium designed for soccer by any professional sports team in New York City. And we will be able to host some of our campus events there, and in a most exciting way, be able to hold our commencement ceremony and other large events there when appropriate and when the time comes. So let me speak a little bit about something that I think that we hear a lot about. One of the things I heard during my listening tour was we have to do something about the facilities. It did come to my attention shortly after that we had several unfinished projects that had been sort of on stall and had been funded from a variety of places, but mostly from our local electeds. And so I am excited to announce that probably before the holiday season, we will have an official ribbon cutting for some of the projects that are noted here on the slide. I'm sure those who have been on campus have enjoyed riding the new escalator and in the new elevators. There are other structural improvements that are happening on campus that are not as visible, like the HVAC upgrade and the repairs to other items. But what I will tell you is that there are lecture halls that have been renovated as noted in the picture, and that we are really excited to put a bow and to tie up some facilities loose ends. Thank you to the team. Also for the painting project, there is painting going on everywhere. We have been working very hard to make sure that we address those needs as noted by the faculty and staff and the students. And we understand that we always have a lot of work to do. But thank you to the facilities team, to the leadership of that area, and to all of those who have anything to do with the renovations that are noted on this slide and the other things that we're going to be celebrating. We should be very proud. And I am happy to tie a bow on this because then I can ask our local electeds for more funds for additional capital projects. Just a few technology highlights. Technology is at the key of an ever-changing and modern world. We have increased the footprint of technology-enabled classrooms. There are 10 new technology-enhanced classrooms here, all during COVID, and deployed additional technologies around the campus. 100% of auto tracking cameras that were produced and procured 50 large screen displays. And at the end of the day, at the beginning of COVID, it was our sole goal to be sure that any student who needed to have an iPad or a computer or access to the internet was able to receive that. And I want to be sure I thank my amazing technology team for all of their work and everything that they have done. I'm sure you all have seen this, but please let me highlight this for you. And if you have not received a copy of it and shared it with your team or with those you are speaking to about what's going to happen at York this year, these are the strategic initiatives that you, as a campus, were surveyed and decided to take on, along with the input of the leadership team. They're pretty straightforward. You've seen them before. This is the guidepost for our work. And what I will say is our strategic plan is not a binder on the shelf. This is the active list of things that we would like to prioritize for this 2021-2022 academic year. Please be sure that you've reviewed it and that you understand how it connects to your work. So, to that end, we are going to be working hard to keep our plan alive. We are going to have, as usual, an operational plan that speaks to what are you going to be doing. We're handing it into the chancellor today and becomes the official mechanism through which our document is officially saying to everyone, we are One York, these are our goals, and this is what we're going to be doing. The document is going to be maintained on the website, and our One York key performance indicators will be posted on the website next week. I want to stop here and say thank you. I want to make sure that if you have questions, please send them to the address noted on the email, and I will try my best to respond to them. I want to thank you for attending the State of the College address, and again say that I am so grateful to serve as your president, so grateful for the fact that we have been able to support each other in this very, very challenging time. And I want to remind you that we are ready for you to come home. We are ready for you to come back on campus, and we are ready for you to be here with us. So in the spirit of One York, thank you for your time.